Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brooks Knows Baseball 30 Breakdowns in 30 Days. Today, we are winding it down, really, starting with the NL West, our final division in our little mini series here that we have delved into. Starting off with the Arizona Diamondbacks, taking a look at their recent history. Has not been good. They have only made the playoffs one time since 2012, which is rough. And then, really, if you go back all the way to 2003, they've only made it three times. But if you want to go back to their creation in '98, they've only made it six times. But they do have a World Series in that time. Last year, they were 74 and 88. The year before that, they lost 110 games, which was their second worst season they've ever had. So they did have a massive improvement last year, 22 wins. And if they had a 22-win increase this year, they'd probably be fighting for the number one seed. I don't see that happening, though. But without further ado, John, is there anything you want to say before I go ahead and jump into the new transactions here?
Well, the transactions, I can hit that if you'd like, because I got Lourdes Gurriel. They got the trade from Toronto. They got the catcher, Moreno, from the Blue Jays. They got Kyle Lewis, the outfielder from the Mariners. Longoria was the big one. Miguel Castro from the Yankees. Scott Magoo from Japan, or Magoo. And Cole Sulser.
Mr. Magoo?
Mr. Magoo. Yeah. Yeah, they thought Zach Davies was going to leave, but he stayed. But anyway, okay, that's what I got for that.
Yeah, well, jumping. Well, they got some new pitchers too. We didn't touch on Andrew Chaffin, Miguel Castro, or Cole Sulser. You mentioned.
I say Castro and Sulser.
Okay, well, all right. Their catcher looks like, because their other catcher, who is their catcher on who's on IL?
The man they got from St. Louis, Carson Kelly.
Carson Kelly is not going to be starting opening day, though, so we're going to go take a look at Gabriel Moreno, who they did get. He just 23, barely 23 years old. They just got him from the
big prospect. Them.
Yeah, and last year he did very, very limited time, but he did hit 319 in 25 games. I'm sorry, 319 in 25 games. Looking at triple A. I can't speak today. Triple A last year, and 62 games he hit 315. So he's always hit. In 2021 and 32
and he's
games.
Young.
Double A, he hit 373. He hits, so that's always a good thing for this team. I think they're really an up and coming bunch. What do you think?
Absolutely. So you'll touch it later, but their prospects we've mentioned a couple other times. They got a really good farm system, and that leads to great things.
Moving on to first base, a guy I met probably 10 years ago, Christian Walker, who kind of came out of nowhere last season, hit 36 home runs in. It did hit 242. He's not really going to be much of an average guy. He's going to be on the wrong side of 30. I do think his power is going to be there. Will he get more than... I don't think he's going to hit 36 home runs again. I think maybe he can hit probably around 30 home runs, but not much more.
Yeah, he's kind of been a power guy his whole career, though.
He just never really had a chance to play.
Well, they got Pavin Smith. I guess he plays outfield some too. I guess he can back up for him some and play probably DH a little bit too. Pavin, I think he had an off year last year, but the year before he's pretty solid. I may be wrong. I don't remember, but yeah, I don't see them as much as I'd like to. But
it's hard to watch a team like that.
Yeah, well, it may not be for long. But second base, you got Ketel Marte. He's a solid player, switch hitter.
Only thing I'm a little worried about him, his batting average took a massive, massive dip last year. I went from 318 to 21. Obviously, only about a little over half of a season, and he dropped all the way down to 240. His strikeout percentage was the highest it's ever been in his career last year. And
that's not a good sign.
No, but he's only 20. He'll be 29, so maybe he'll get a rebound, maybe not. Moving on to shortstop, we got Nick Ahmed. Last year was a 231 hitter.
Yeah, wasn't he hurt a lot last year again?
Oh yeah, he didn't play all hurt last year. So well, hell, that would have been better for him because he got year before 221 hitter.
Yeah, so, I guess people he's got to beat Geraldo Perdomo out. So who knows who's going to win that? He's young and up and comer, you know.
So. Yeah, and moving on after him, we have third baseman. I'm seeing Josh Rojas as the starter there.
Yeah, or Longoria.
Yeah, Longoria, they have him looking like, from what I'm seeing on the
DH
bench, okay,
or
he's just
DH.
so
Probably.
old. He's so old. He'll be
Oh, that's,
38 this year.
it's the end of the year. Yeah, yeah.
But I guess we can talk about Longoria too. But first, we'll take a look at Rojas here. Last year, Rojas is only going to be 29, so obviously a lot younger than Evan Longoria, and he did hit 269 last year, 264 the year before. So that's probably right where he's going to be at. He doesn't have hardly any power. He strikes out about 22% of the time, roughly.
Another
Takes
guy in
walks.
the Houston organization too.
Yeah, and what would you do? Would you start Longoria or him?
If
Longoria hit
Long,
244 last year,
well,
but he has more power, a little bit.
yeah, I don't know. And Longoria used to be a pretty solid fielder, but he's so old. I mean, for a baseball player. I mean, I wish I was his age, but I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to talk about the outfield though, because there's a couple guys out there, three guys I really like out there.
Yeah, go. So I know who you want to start with. Most likely the number 2 prospect in all of baseball.
Corbin Carroll. It looks like he's going to be in right. This guy, he's something else. I've watched him some of the spring too. I really like him, left-handed hitter. He's not very big, but he's one of those throwback kind of players, and balls to the wall all the time. I like him. And then I want to talk about.
Well, hold on. One before Corbin Carroll, there's something I want to talk about.
Uh-huh.
How do you feel about his 8-year, $111 million deal?
I think it's a smart thing. They're banking on him
He has
being good.
32 career games, man.
And it might bite him, but then on the flip side, he ain't gonna get any cheaper. You know.
What if he stays a 260 hitter?
Well, I don't think he will. His
Say he
past
does.
performance. Well, he may. Then you
Look at
bust. Okay.
Zip's
Well,
projection right now is projecting him to hit 245.
I don't believe that. He'll be better than that. But what about let's look at the Orioles. Would you sign Gunnar Henderson? Would you sign Adley Rushman?
I would sign Rutschman because Rutschman has a season. This guy has like 2
You better
months.
sign them both because they're going to be out in your price range. Some of these guys, the Braves do that all the time, and it don't bite them. Look, they just did it to the center fielder. Um,
I just
and
think it's a little odd.
yeah, well, but then then you get Alex Thomas in center, um, and then Jake McCarthy, who we really like. Wasn't he a UVA guy?
I think yes, he was. He was
Yeah,
one of
there
my
you
breakout
go.
candidates this year.
That's right. That's what I said. We really like him. Well, he batted 283 last year and 321 at bats. I like him a lot. Uh,
Yeah,
I think he's going to be something. See, they got all this young talent coming through at the same time too. That's important when you build a team. A lot of teams, the guys trickle in and they're not going to be there at the same time. You know what I mean? They're
yeah.
so. But anyway, it looks like theirs is coming up. They got Kyle Lewis in the backup and Pavin Smith in Gurriel. So you got a lot of candidates for the DH there with Longoria. There's a lot in there, but I'd start Carroll, McCarthy, and Alec Thomas personally. And Kyle Lewis was a big deal, and then he's been hurt ever since he had a good rookie year with Seattle, and he's never been the same.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
They're young, which I think could go against them a little bit. But I think they might be a year or two away from really
mm-hmm.
good because that division is tough. There's gonna those other teams. There's 3 other teams ahead of them, and they're gonna find their wins. And I just think it's gonna be tough to compete, especially when there's teams like the Padres who are spending $650 million every offseason.
Yeah, and the Dodgers seem to win, but I other than pitching, the Dodgers. Well, we'll get to the
You know how
Dodgers.
many games the Dodgers won last year?
Pardon me.
You know how many games the Dodgers won last year?
They won 100 plus, didn't they?
111.
Do you think you're going to do it again? I
No,
don't,
I mean,
because
what's that? Probably the second or third best season ever.
well, yeah, but I mean, look at their infield, for example. They lost their shortstop. They lost their replacement already, Gavin Lux, because they lost Trey Turner. Boy, that's really biting them in the butt right now. And then after the way he's,
Justin Turner too,
yeah, well, he's like 38 years old.
but
And
he hasn't showed any signs of slowing down. By the way, did you see his face? The picture
oh, when he got hurt,
looks like a monster. It's swollen, a big cut.
no, that's too bad because he was a former Norfolk Tide, and the guy the Orioles unfortunately let go. But
Wasn't he tied twice with the Mets too?
maybe you may be right. He may
Pretty
have been
sure I
there
am.
in
I
transition.
usually am. But they say in a Dodgers show.
Right, I know. But let's see here. So I guess that's all I can really say about that team.
Well, let me talk. Let me touch on their prospects here because there is quite a bit to talk about. I know we already kind of touched on Corbin Carroll. He is their number one prospect, but they do have five guys in the top 100. Obviously, Corbin Carroll's number two overall prospect. Then you got number 11 prospect Jordan Lawler, the shortstop who is in Double A. Then they got a prospect who I liked and wouldn't have mind the Orioles drafting is Drew Jones, who is just 19 years old. He's an outfielder, but I liked him a lot coming out. And Andrew Jones' son, obviously, he's the second overall pick last year. But then their final prospect in the top 100 is going to be Brandon Pfaadt, who is a 24-year-old right-handed pitcher. Overall, taking a look at their farm systems, they are ranked as the third best farm system in all of baseball, only behind the Baltimore Orioles and the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Well, when you drop, one thing we need to touch on is their rotation. Um, Zach, I guess you see Zach Gallen. Do you think he's their top guy or Merrill Kelly? Not based on what he did in WBC, but
Yeah, I'm not a big Merrill Kelly fan after watching him.
but Gallen, we had 2.54 ERA last year. Did you realize that? Under one WHIP.
I
He's
think
12-4,
Gallen. What I'm
and then
seeing here is
Kelly.
Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Madison Baumgartner, Zach Davies, and Ryan Nelson.
Well, Kelly, trust me, Kelly's better than he showed in the WBC.
They got
Uh,
an old staff. I think
he,
that could hurt them. That could hold them back from being from a good team.
because Kelly's old, and then our buddy
Well, their
Matt.
prospects, looking at their fifth best prospect is a right-handed pitcher who may develop, but then he's 24, so he has a potential.
Who is that? Dre Jameson.
Brandon Fad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, what do you think the rotation is
PFAADT.
going to be? Are they going to, because it looks like Gallen, Kelly, Baumgartner, Davies, Zach Davies, and then I'm thinking Drew Jameson because I think he had like 4 starts at the end of the year and looked good. And then Ryan Nelson, they said he's a starter, but he might go in the bullpen.
Ryan Nelson. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that's
Uh,
going to be their biggest holdup. Their lack of pitching depth.
they might as well, if they're rebuilding, they might as well get those young guys in there, you know. And then their bullpen and it's pretty darn old. Mark Melanson, he's still good, but he's 38 years old right now. Or tomorrow, what one day?
Sulcer's 33.
Solser, I've seen a lot of Solser. Not impressed.
Yeah.
They got a lot of aides there. Austin Adams, he's going to be 32. For me, jury's for me. I think they cut him today. They don't have to worry about his
Let's
role.
see. I think I have their. It's not working.
Yeah, he did get cut today. Let's see. Then they got Joe Mantiply. Uh, he's what 32, but he had really good numbers last year. Another Virginia guy from Virginia Tech, from Danville, Virginia.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Jeremy's alma mater was there. And then I know you want to talk about Mr. Magoo.
No.
Yeah, they got him. Was he a Rule 5 guy? Yes. Wait a minute. I think he was. But if he
He
was,
was a free agent from Japan.
oh, that's right. Yeah, he's 33 years old. He hadn't pitched in the major leagues since 2015.
They
And when he
like
did,
getting some
that,
Japanese free agents here.
yeah, there's a
Merrill
couple of them I
Kelly,
like.
him.
Yeah, that the one guy that hit the big hit there, at the end there, or got the heavy set. Was he first baseman? I don't know his name, but he's going to be posted after 25. They said so. He's pretty young.
But taking
Anyway,
a look at, not to cut you off there, but taking a look, I feel like we're rambling a bit here. We're taking a look at the Arizona Diamondbacks projections this year. I do have them only winning 80 games and losing 82. Again, I think their lack of pitching depth is going to hurt them. and I think they're just really young, and it takes time to learn how to play the game at an efficient and successful level. But then winning 82 games is still a 8 game improvement from last year. So I'm sure their fans will take it. They'll be in the playoff hunt late in the year. I just think looking at that division, their depth, they're not going to win the division, not yet. And a wild card spot's going to be tough because I think the other two wild card spots could potentially be in that division as well.
Yeah, I think, and yeah, but I think their manager's a good guy for that. He's one of the younger managers, Torey Lavallo. But one thing, if you look at their pitching coach, is Brent Strom, former North Tidewater Tide, but anyway, way back, but 51 years ago. But he was pitching coach with Houston when they started popping up. So that may help some of the younger guys. But that's all I got to say about these guys. I think they're coming. They're coming.
Like Forrest Gump there. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the Arizona Diamondbacks. Tomorrow we will be doing the. Who are we doing tomorrow? Colorado Rockies.
Oh, can't wait
But
for that.
after that, it'll get fun again because they got the Dodgers, Padres, and Giants. So check back in us tomorrow again. We're wrapping it up this series here. Let us know what you think. I know our WBC video has over 120 views, so that is making me really excited. So maybe someone's watching us. Hopefully, if you saw the WBC, you did come and check this series out. Give us a like, give us a share. Let us know some of the comments, especially if you're here. If you're watching this video right now and you're not subscribed, that's pretty dumb. So go ahead and subscribe. But yeah, John, let's do the sign off. We'll get on out of here.
I just want to say one more quick thing. We're the more followers we get, we're going to try to add videos, some other things. So, um, give us a shot here, and we'll get better and better.
We
And
go.
for the sign off, that's all for now, folks. We'll catch you next time on Brooks Knows Baseball.
Good night.
Good night, John Boy.